Okay, hello, good morning. Sorry for the technical difficulties if you tried to join earlier. I'm Taylor with Mom on the Spectrum, and today I am sharing travel frustrations and what it's like to travel as someone with autism because travel is very hard. I was going to put out a regular video this week, but it's like I forget how hard traveling is, and my brain has just been in a blender this week. Like I haven't even left yet. Obviously, I'm home, and I just like my days are not working as normal because my brain is overwhelmed just thinking about traveling. It's a very frustrating experience for me. So because I'm not able to put out a video this week, I feel like my ADHD functions are kind of taking over and I've just been spaced out. I decided to just go live because I felt like I could share some of this information that I'm sorting through right now, and hopefully it might be helpful to you. If you're new to the channel, I've got a lot of other resources. I usually have weekly curated videos that are a little bit more put together than this one might come across. But nonetheless, I'm excited to talk about traveling stuff today because now that I know that I'm autistic, I know I'm not the only one who deals with this type of frustration. So, first of all, the thing that really drives me crazy. Hey, Whitney, I'm so sorry for all the technical difficulties. It was nuts. I saw you on the first feed and then I had to switch over and come over here. So, the thing that really gets me about traveling is I'm going to see my best friend. And I know I can say all of this because she knows that I love her and she knows how I feel about her. Um, I can simultaneously feel like I am so excited to go see her and also just feel like really, really anxious about leaving my house. It's really, really hard for me. And I felt this way I had always wanted to go to New York City. I visited New York City pre pandemic when I was pregnant with my son. And I'd always wanted to go, but just the stress leading up to the trip of like throwing everything in a blender, it's really frustrating because it's like holding space for two completely opposite feelings, like really wanting, and I think that kind of plays into like my ADHD and autism as well. Because my ADHD is like explore new things, try different things, learn, grow, journey, explore. And my autism is like routine and structure and don't leave your bed and you can't pack your weighted blanket with you. And, everything's so much safer here and there's not really any need to go anywhere. So traveling has always been really frustrating for me. I also get really upset about flying. I do not like to fly. Um, I don't really know what it is. It's not so much like a safety issue because I know like millions of planes fly and they're fine. Um, it's like all the people in the airport sitting really close to people that I don't know, all the sensory overwhelm, my ears like popping in the airplane, not having my food with me, because you can't bring your stuff on the plane, and we can't bring like drinks, can't have your water, and so it's like you have to buy all this stuff before you get on the plane, and there's just so many transitions. Like transitions are such a big stressor whenever it comes to traveling and in general. I mean, I was talking about this in my therapy group the other week. We were talking about transitions and how stressful they are. And we were all just kind of like, I don't know how to deal with them. Transitions are really hard. So whenever I'm like not in a place, but transitioning to another place, which is what travel is, like you're never really there until you're there. And then I just think about getting back so I can have my routine and my structure in my bed. But it's just all these paradoxes of like enjoying having traveled and enjoying those experiences, but also just really, really loving the routine and structure of being at home. So, anyways, Whitney says I can't sleep in any other beds other than mine. I totally get that. In my bed, I feel like I've got everything set up. I've got my weighted blanket. I've got my pillows just like I like them. I've got a body pillow that obviously I can't travel with. I have a weighted eye mask. I know that in my nightstand, I have my melatonin if I can't sleep. And I have like a headband with speakers in it that I can put on for like meditation or white noise. And what else? I have other stuff in there. I have like my blue light glasses if I'm going to read. I have all my books on my nightstand if I can't sleep. So it's like I think for people on the spectrum, sleep can be a particularly stressful thing because our brains, I think it's because a lot of times our brains just don't stop and we have a lot of sensory kind of stimuli that keep us from getting the sleep that we need. So it's just hard. It's really hard to sleep in a different environment. I think that's probably a really big thing for a lot of autistic people. Also not knowing what to expect. My best friend was helping me yesterday because she's like, okay, on Friday we're doing this, on Saturday we're doing this, this is what we're doing on Sunday. And having that clear structure really helps me. You know, even when I just go somewhere like in my hometown, I'll even look at Google reviews first and like see a picture of the business before I go so I know what it looks like and what to expect. I like to look at maps before I go to a place so that I know all of my surroundings and kind of what to expect and what's going to be around me. So, yeah, just going into a completely different schedule can really be upsetting because then what if you don't get a good night's sleep and then you wake up and you have a new schedule? And I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but like if you're on any types of medications or vitamins or supplements, for some reason it just feels weird like taking those things in another place. You might be in a different time zone, you might have had a different sleeping pattern, you might have a different layout of your day. And it's like, for me, I have to take all the things that I take. Like I have a ton of supplements. I love supplements. I have to take them at very like specific times. And so figuring out how to do that all again in a different environment is like, it's stressful. So, okay, what else did I write on? Food. I do not like being without my food rituals and routines. And I feel like a lot of us have food sensitivities. I know a lot of us have food sensitivities. And it can be really hard to travel. Like when my family went to Florida last year, it was like they hated gluten-free people. That's not true, but there was there was nothing. Like anytime we went out to eat, no gluten-free options anywhere. And I live in a big metroplex and there's always gluten-free options everywhere. And so traveling to a different place and realizing like, oh, I can't necessarily just easily get the accommodations that I need can make it really hard. And it can make it more stressful to plan events. You can't just pick up and go explore. You have to have a plan, like where am I going to get my food? And especially with kids, like we ran into that problem when we traveled as a family last year. It's like we didn't have to just know where this meal was coming from. We also had to know what we were going to do for dinner because we might stay out at the beach for a little bit longer. And yeah, so all those things make it really tricky. We'll see. And y'all can chime in on the side with other frustrations that you have about traveling. Um, Leaving my kids and my animals. So I just snuggled one of my cats so hard this morning and I was like, I'm gonna miss you so much. Because he's part of my routine and he just like he calms me down and he knows whenever I'm stressed. And so this morning he just curled up in my lap and I think he can tell I'm stressed about the trip. And again, like I know I don't have to have disclaimers because my best friend knows that I adore her. Like I'm so excited to go see her. I'm equally like I'm so anxious and excited about seeing her and we have all these fun plans and I'm so pumped. But I'm also just anxious about the process of all of it. So leaving my animals is a really big one. They're just a really big part of how I calm down. And my best friend has two cats, so I'm really and they have someone who moved in with them who has another cat named Bean Dip, which I'm really excited. I'm excited about meeting Larry and LeBron and Bean Dip. So I'm gonna have other animals that I can meet. And then leaving my kids, especially neurodivergent kids, they just require a lot. There's a lot of routine, and I know that by leaving, like my kids are going to kind of be thrown in a blender with their emotional regulation and everything. And my husband's awesome at managing that. I mean, the kids love him and they're really excited for extra dad time. But just, leaving kids who really thrive on structure and routine and having the same processes every day. And then for me, like they're part of my processes and my routine. And I think we all kind of help. It's funny. Like I feel like we all kind of help emotionally regulate each other, but we also very easily dysregulate each other. Like I've talked about before, how some of my stims are like upsetting to my kid, especially to my son, and some of his stims are upsetting to me. But at the same time, like we kind of need each other because we also know how to like help each other feel better. So I don't know, it's complicated. Also packing. Okay, I have not packed yet. Good morning to the people that just joined. I'm leaving tonight. Like, and Molly, my daughter, this morning, she asked my husband, shouldn't mom be packing right now? Dad's like, she's got it figured out. My husband's like, she's doing her thing. She's gonna do it when she does it. I just don't understand packing, like how people pack early because I need like the things I pack, I use every day. So like, how do people pack early? I'm just like, because then half of your things that you need are in the suitcase and half of the things that you need are in the bathroom and in your closet. And so I'm just like, why don't I just use everything that I need to use the day of, and then I'm just going to pack it. So I don't know. Packing is so stressful to me. And where I'm going, it's very cold. And it's hard because I don't have like the right types of clothes to wear. So I have to get different clothes and wear like layers, which can be uncomfortable, because in my mind, I'm like, oh, I don't want to be uncomfortable inside and have all these layers because I don't like wearing layers. And then I say that I'm wearing layers right now. But then transitioning from like indoor to outdoor where it's freezing. And so it's just a lot to think about, like going to a different environment or a different time zone. My mind just doesn't quit thinking about any of this stuff. Like since I booked my flight in December, and I've messaged her, I'm like, okay, what do I wear? What should I do here? What should I do in this situation? And, she's been so patient about everything. But packing is just, this time for the first time ever, I'm packing in a carry-on suitcase. I've never done this before because I have so many things. Like, I guess the word might be accoutrements. I like that word, accoutrements. I just have so many like things that go with me. Like if I'm going somewhere, I have things that need to come with me. And I always pack in like the biggest suitcase. But I felt like it might be one way to kind of cut down on all of the transitions in the airport, which are really stressful to me, like getting your luggage, tagging your luggage, putting it on the conveyor belt, lifting it up, making sure it's 50 pounds. That's also stressful. So I'm like, I'm just going to freaking figure out how to pack in a carry-on. So I'm doing that this time. And it helps that my best friend's just going to like let me wear her clothes, which that will, I can't always pack in a carry-on for every trip, but for this one, I think it might work. So packing is stressful. What else did I write down over here? Let me see what y'all said. Faith is important. It feels unnatural. Hey, Passaggio Alivello. I didn't know if you'd be on this early. Yeah. So why? That's one of somebody's username. We are going to talk about faith again. I'm going to do another religion talk hopefully next week. This live video, if you missed the beginning, I forgot how affected I am by travel, and I haven't been able to do things. Like I just sit and stare this week and be anxious. That's like what I've done this week. So that's why I'm doing a live video to kind of talk about travel frustrations in lieu of having like a typical video. So I'm going to start back again next week, hopefully, and we're going to do another segment on religion. And I've got topics that I want to talk about, but feel free, like if you want to submit more topics and ideas, you can leave a comment or you can post on the community page. Yeah, pass. It was totally impromptu. I'm like ADHDing out so hard right now. Adventures of Meg and Pay. If you have any tips for packing in a carry-on, let me know. I've heard like rolling your clothes. I don't know. I'm kind of skeptical. Okay, what else? So maybe some things that help. I know for me, I kind of mentioned earlier, visualizing what's going to happen before it actually happens. So like talking through your schedule or looking at a map of where you're going to go, looking at pictures of where you're going to stay. If you're staying in like a hotel or resort, you can call ahead and ask for the types of accommodations you might need, or you could email ahead. I know for a lot of us, we would prefer written communication to spoken communication. So kind of just getting a feel for things before you even get there, I think can be really helpful. And for me, I just like, my lists are kind of crazy. So I have lists, but they're really messy. So I just kind of keep a running list. I have one on my phone and a written list, and they're both different because that's where my brain's at right now. So having a running list of like, I need to bring these things because these are the things I need in order to feel comfortable and feel like I have what I need to be taken care of. What are some other things that help y'all when you are packing? Whitney says vacuum seal your clothes. Whoa, that's intense. I've seen that before. I don't think I have the right stuff for that, but that makes sense. Roll clothes in drawers and closets, packing cubes, sort clothes by type. I saw that, sorting clothes by like individual outfits, like putting them in a bag and vacuum sealing, like Whitney was saying, like this is the outfit I'm wearing this day and this is the outfit I'm wearing this day. So that could be really cool for routine and structure and just knowing this is exactly what I'm going to wear. I also like traveling with like travel size toiletries because I feel like they take up less space. and just less bulky, and they're cute. I really like the travel size section in the stores. There's so many fun little things. Identical outfits, so you don't have to think about it. That's awesome. That reminds me of a picture that I saw. I don't know, it's probably on Instagram or something. And it was like one of those things where like there's 10 pieces of a wardrobe and you can wear it like 7 different ways, you know? So something like that I've heard is really good to travel with. Like if you have a beige and white kind of color scheme and all of your clothes go together and you can mix and match, that could be really good. This just came to me like hats, because I really don't like doing my hair. And so just traveling with a hat so you don't feel like you have to do your hair all the time. Yeah. So Street Math. Hey, Street Math, I haven't chatted with you in a while. I split essentials into different containers and packages so you have access to whatever you need at all times, even if you lose luggage. That's really smart. Adventures of Megan Pay says, also, you said going to a cold place. A tip I use is to try to wear heavier clothes like a coat or sweater. That way you save space, and it can also be a comfort on a plane instead of a pillow or a blanket. That's a great tip. So like wearing the bulky stuff rather than packing it. That's really awesome. And I'm going from Texas to Wisconsin. So it's actually kind of colder here in Texas today, but that's what I was worried about, is like I don't really need a ton of cold clothes on right now, but like when I land, I'm going to really hope that I have them. So my best friend is going to just hand me one of her big bulky coats. She's bringing one for me to use, so I don't even have to worry about that. But it is a really good idea to bring a coat on the plane and kind of use it as a pillow. I'm bringing my crochet stuff on the plane, so I get super nervous when I fly. And I think crocheting is just like something that I can do continuously over and over again to take my mind off of stuff. I'm also making sure that I download my favorite music and wear my headphones. So these are really cool. They're Impals. They're pretty affordable. I think they're like $25. I mean, they're not like the best quality, but they're not noticeably bad, if you know what I'm saying. Like I'm a music major, so I was a music major, so I'm very particular about sound and music and how it comes across. And I'm happy with these $25 headphones. So I'm going to make sure these are charged now that I mention it, and listen to music and crochet on the plane. I think I have a hard time reading on the plane. And sometimes I just sit and just stare when I'm in the plane. My husband's always like, "Why? What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, do you want to read something?" I'm like, "No, I'm just going to sit here. I'm just going to stare." And he's always kind of like, "I don't know how you do that. And I don't know why I do it. Maybe I'm just kind of like trying to regulate myself. I don't know." I'm going to read these last few comments and I'll hop off pretty soon. Passaggio has traveled abroad a lot. Never for fun, only to find a new welcoming place where I was not considered the weirdo, but that place doesn't exist. Oh, I'm sorry. That sounds really stressful. But for what it's worth, I think being weird is really awesome. And I think people who aren't weird are weird. I don't know what that means, but I'm glad you're in this community. I've always wanted to travel by train, and I have not. Well, we have like a little DART train here between the big metroplex cities, but it's not like I want to go on like a legit train that doesn't just go like 30 miles, that doesn't travel 30 miles. Yep. So anyways, I know that travel frustrations are not, I'm not the only one that deals with those. So I just wanted to kind of open up a conversation about what those travel frustrations look like, and maybe just a few tips for dealing with them. For my kids, there's things, many of you probably heard of this, called social stories, where you can search on YouTube like plane travel social story, and it's pictures and video, and I guess like us as adults, we could use them too, but a lot of them are specifically targeted at kids, and it shows like when you go into the airport, this is what to expect, and it's like calm voices, and not that you should expect that at the airport, but the videos are like calm people explaining what the situation is going to be like. And so those types of things can really help kids, but also us as adults, because we need help too, right? So, all right, if y'all think of more suggestions, feel free to drop them in the comments here. Thank y'all for thanks for just hopping in on this impromptu session. I feel like I'm going to get back into a better groove next week. I just wanted to post something rather than nothing, because I was in the living room just sitting like staring straight ahead, and I was like, I need to do a video today. And I was like, I can't shoot a video and edit a video and get it up today without feeling like a basket case. So I was like, I'll just go live and we can talk about some stuff. So the goal is to find a better time, consistent time to go live, so that we can all know to expect it every week and not be like, what? Why is Taylor on again? Okay. Thank y'all so much for being here, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.